Something is happening inside your brain that nobody talks about honestly. Not from a religious angle, not from a moral angle, from a science angle. Because the struggle most people experience with lust has very little to do with weakness and everything to do with how your brain was rewired without you noticing. Here is what is actually happening. Your brain has a reward system, and that system runs on one chemical, dopamine. When you eat something good, dopamine releases. When you achieve something, dopamine releases. And when you experience sexual stimulation, dopamine floods your brain. Not a little, a lot. More than almost anything else the brain can experience. And here is where the problem starts. Your brain does not care about your well-being. It cares about one thing, more dopamine. So every time you give it what it wants, it raises the bar. What satisfied you before no longer satisfies you. So you need more intensity, more stimulation. Psychologists call this neuroadaptation. Your brain physically rewires itself around the behavior. And once that rewiring happens, the struggle is no longer about desire. It becomes about circuitry. Now add something else, something researchers call the Coolidge effect. Human beings are biologically wired to respond to novelty. A new stimulus, a different scenario, something you have never seen before, triggers a fresh dopamine spike every single time. This is not a character flaw. It is an ancient biological mechanism designed for survival. But your ancestors did not have unlimited access to artificial stimulation. You do. And that changes everything. Because here is what unlimited access actually does to a brain. It creates a cycle. First comes the urge, your brain signals want. Then comes the consumption, temporary relief. Then comes something else, guilt, shame, the promise to stop. And then the urge returns, stronger than before. Not because you are weak, but because your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for impulse control and rational decision-making, has been gradually weakened by overstimulation. You are not losing a battle of willpower. You are losing a neurological battle. And most people fighting it do not even know that's what's happening. Here's the part that will change how you see this. 3 to 6% of the population experiences compulsive sexual behavior. That's hundreds of millions of people struggling silently, not talking about it, because shame keeps the cycle invisible, and invisible cycles never get broken. The research is clear on what drives this. It is not just desire, it's boredom, it's stress, it's loneliness. It's the brain reaching for its fastest available source of relief and finding it every time. That's the trap, not temptation, relief. When something reliably makes you feel better in the short term, your brain will return to it every time, regardless of the long-term cost. And the long-term cost is real. Depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, reduced attraction to real intimacy, social withdrawal, a growing gap between what you experience on a screen and what you feel in an actual human connection. The brain that was conditioned by artificial stimulation begins to find real life underwhelming. Real relationships feel slow. Real intimacy feels insufficient. Real people feel like not enough. Not because they are not enough, but because your reward system has been calibrated to something they can never compete with. So what actually helps? Not willpower, not shame, not promises made at 2 in the morning. One thing, pattern interruption. Here is what this means practically. The cycle, urge, consumption, relief, guilt, repeat, runs on automatic. It does not ask your permission, it just runs. The only way to break an automatic pattern is to insert a conscious action before the behavior happens, not after, before. The moment the urge appears, before you act on it, you do one specific thing. You name it out loud. I feel the urge right now. 3 seconds, 4 words. That single act of naming, what psychologists call affect labeling, activates your prefrontal cortex, the exact part of your brain that was weakened. You are not fighting the urge, you are waking up the part of your brain that can respond to it rationally instead of automatically. This does not eliminate the urge, but it creates a gap, and in that gap is where you get your power back. Not all at once, not perfectly, but consistently. The struggle with lust is not a moral failure. It is a neurological pattern built by repetition, and patterns built by repetition can be interrupted by repetition. The brain that was rewired one choice at a time can be rewired one choice at a time. Starting with the next moment the urge appears, name it and choose differently, just once, then again, then again. If this video explains something you have never heard explained this clearly before, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to Mind Exposed because we decode the patterns that most people carry in silence and give them a name. We'll see you in the next one.